I'm pretty sure this is one of Matt's ties, right, folks? If you've seen this kind of looks like a Matt Richards look. I'm going right here. Don't tell him. I might have taken that from his dressing room. Welcome everyone into our Hall of Trivia on HQ, our football and fantasy sports themed trivia show, sponsored by the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. You see them right there. Be sure to follow them. My name is Jeff Eisenband, and I will be in your earpiece tonight calling those plays. Welcome back all of our returning players, and welcome in our Hall of Trivia rookies. Whether you're Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts, we all start at Q1 tonight. But before we get to trivia, it's time for the Start Sit Fantasy Pick 'em Pool, brought to you by the Hall of Fantasy League. Awesome stuff. Now, let me remind you a little bit about how this all works. We'll give you two or more players. You pick the player you think will score more fantasy points this week. If they do, that's a W, chalk it up. Get the most wins by the end of the contest, and you and whoever's left will share, you see it right there, a $10,000 grand prize. So keep on grinding, because it is very close right now. Last week we had Robert Woods versus DeAndre Hopkins. D-Hop did not have that good of a game, but that touchdown put him over the edge for a narrow win. Bobby Woods had more catches and yards, but it didn't work out. This week, it is Cam Newton versus Jared Goff, two former number one overall picks. All right, we're going to call this on HQ. Ready? Hut, hut, hut. HQ. All right, who you got? We got Thursday Night Football back for the first time in 3 weeks, right? Nothing's stopping this one from happening. Patriots actually played the Chargers last week. They've just been hanging in LA, waiting to play this game, a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. And we are split 50-50 for the second time this year. Cam Newton, Jared Goff, you guys split it halfway. Half will be winners tonight, and half, I hate to be that guy, will be losers. All right, as they say in the trivia world, let's do that trivia. It is trivia time. I'm going to ask you 10 questions about the NFL and this past week in fantasy football. All questions are powered by our friends at Sport Radar. If you get all questions right, you and whoever is left will split the prize pot of $2,500. That's what we're playing for tonight. That means you still have time to buy Christmas gifts if you can get that money. All right, it's almost time for kickoff. And by the way, everyone out there celebrating Hanukkah like myself, you got to get cracking because we're on day one. You got 7 more days to get people presents. There's a nice little lag time. Save me some latkes back at home tonight. I got to work tonight. All right, let's get with Q1. Which of these is a traditional touchdown celebration by members of the Green Bay Packers? The Lambeau Leap, the Icky Shuffle, or the Dirty Bird? I thought it was the cheese grater, but apparently I'm wrong there. Well, their QB favors the discount double check, but as far as the team goes, it's the Lambeau Leap. Usually they jump into fans right in the stands, 21,387 of you out there. Right now the Packers are just leaping into empty seats. I'm pretty sure they smelled the cheese curds from last season. I would still do it. It's pretty cool, even into an empty seat at Lambeau Field. Q2. Which of these teams most recently got a win? Jets, Jaguars, Bears. I mean, it doesn't get more simpler than a question like this. Literally, which team, these 3 teams that are not very good, which of them got a win last? There was a time where Matt Nagy and the Bears were 5-1, but that was long ago. The Bears have lost 6 straight, and yet they're the right answer here. That's crazy, 16,820 of you at least thinking of their record, right? Adam Gase and the Jets, they have lost all 12 games. Jacksonville won the opener and has proceeded to lose 11 straight. Sorry, Jacksonville and other New York fans. For Q3, it is time to bring in one of the smartest football minds in America. I'm telling you that. It's fantasy expert, Brad Evans.
Hola amigos, Brad Evans here, professional fantasy jackass and co-founder of FTN Fantasy. I hope everybody's gearing up for the fantasy postseason. And I have a question. Among rookie running backs this year, who currently has the most fantasy points? Is it Antonio Gibson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or James Robinson?
Well, I guess I was thinking Jonathan Taylor, but that's not an answer. So, Brad, who do you got with this one?
The answer, well, following in the footsteps of great undrafted running backs such as Arian Foster, Priest Holmes, and my guy, the PT Bruiser, Pierre Thomas, it's fantasy revelation James Robinson, who currently leads all rookie running backs in fantasy points. Congratulations if you got that one correct. Good luck the rest of the way, and always remember to fade the noise. Now back to Jeff in the studio.
I have never seen a human being get so excited about Super Bowl champion Pierre Thomas. But you learn something new every day. James Robinson, impressive stuff this season for the aforementioned Jaguars. Q4. What team set a franchise record for points in a half last week? The Giants, Titans, or Browns? Giants, Titans, or Browns? Well, Baker Mayfield went insane this past Sunday. The Browns put up 38 points in the first half to set a franchise record. Mayfield is the first Browns quarterback with 4 touchdowns in the first half since Otto Graham did it in 1951. 11,683. You were realizing what went on. By the way, that is Northwestern legend Otto Graham we're talking about. You guys, 11,683 are you a legends? But how about the Wildcats legend? Big bad Otto Graham back in the day. Q5. Which of these is not a way Gunnar Olszewski scored last week? Receiving, blocked field goal return, or punt return? Receiving, blocked field goal return, or punt return. So you know there's a certain dynamic ability here, right? The Pats had a big week on defense and special teams as well, and the Gun Show, literally the name the teammates have for Gunnar, brought a punt back and caught a score. 7,380 of you locking that down. Some of you might thought, well, the Pats, they blocked a field goal and they brought it back, right? That was actually Devin McCourty. So a crazy weekend, a big win for the New England Patriots. For those of you in Boston, your team is still alive. They're still parking their car right there in the playoff race. We're halfway through the game, players, so let's take a quick break, all right? Do what you got to do, get hydrated, get rested, and let us take a look at the halftime tweet and greet. I asked you on Twitter, what's your favorite football name of all time? Pretty simple stuff, right? There were some incredible answers right here, but these were some of my favorites. Very Stable G said Tim Biakabatuka. Lost Tribe Esport, I'm getting a nod that I said that right. Lost Tribe Esport said Debrickashaw Ferguson, and Spicy Bills Mafia said, ha ha, Clinton Dix. That was kind of quiet. Ha ha. Q6. Who is the only quarterback with at least 10 career games with multiple rushing TDs? Cam Newton, Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson. Newton, Vick, Jackson. Where are you going to go with this? Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson might be the quarterback rushing kings in the open field, but no QB pounds it in like Superman. Cam Newton has 10 games with 2+ rushing TDs, and that's the most all time. Only 5,689 of you sticking around after that. By the way, who's second on the all-time list? Our good friend Otto Graham, Northwestern legend Otto Graham. He did it 7 times. You might remember him from Q4, if you're still here. Q7. Which of these tight ends has never reached 200 yards receiving in a single game? Darren Waller, George Kittle, or Travis Kelce? Waller, Kittle, or Kelce? Well, Darren Waller had a monster game last week, hitting 200 yards and blowing up a lot of fantasy matches in the final week of the fantasy regular season. George Kittle did it in 2018, but Travis Kelce still hasn't hit 200 yet. Can you believe it? Oh, wow. We got some smart people in there. 6,049 of you knew that. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, what are you waiting for? Throw him the ball. Get Travis Kelce his 200-yard game. Make that answer wrong for this question. Q8. Which team blew the biggest lead last week? The Bears, the Jets, or the Steelers? Chicago, New York, Pittsburgh. Who blew the biggest lead last week? Well, the Jets made a mess of that Raiders game to stay winless and in the Trevor Lawrence hunt. The Bears found a new way to lose, up 10 in the fourth quarter. It was the artist formerly known as the undefeated Steelers who let a 14-0 lead slip to the Washington football team. 5,299 of you getting that. They lost to the football team, folks. In the history of their rivalry, the Steelers have never beaten the football team. I mean, when they were called the football team. They're not undefeated anymore. Some of you are still undefeated as we head into Q9. Who is the only player to win the NFL Comeback Player of the Year more than once? Chad Pennington, Doug Flutie, or Alex Smith? 3 quarterbacks with 3 outstanding, unique stories in themselves. But who's right? You see, the thing with Chad Pennington is you never knew if he was going to throw the ball straight. You never knew how far his noodle arm was going to throw it each season. In 2006 and 2008, he slung it enough to be the Comeback Player of the Year. Both of those seasons, 4,346. You knew your Chad Pennington trivia. He did it once with the Jets, once with the Dolphins, was mostly dominated by the Patriots wherever he went in the AFC East. Doug Flutie did win it, by the way. Alex Smith, he'll probably win it this year. All right, it is time, folks, for the final question of the game. This is it. It all comes down to this last round. Don't be this week's Mike Glennon throwing an overtime interception. It's kind of rude of me because the Jaguars really made that a game, right? Oh well. Q10. Who is the only quarterback with 10 seasons of 30-plus touchdown passes? Tom Brady, Drew Brees, or Peyton Manning? 3 of the absolute all-time greats. You cannot go wrong with these guys. Statistical leaders in like every category, but only one's the right answer. Tom Brady won 3 Super Bowls in his 20s, but he didn't even have a 30-touchdown season until he was 30. Then he set the record with 50. He went 18-1, lost to the Giants. You know the deal, Super Bowl 42. Tom has actually only hit the 30 mark 7 times. Peyton Manning, he did it 9 times, but it is Drew Brees who did it 10 times, all in New Orleans after the trade to San Diego, from San Diego. 2,262 of you knew that one, and you are this week's winners. Congrats to those who nailed it down. Drew Brees in the Superdome in New Orleans, not just watching Taysom Hill right now on the sideline, but hey, Drew Brees did it big. 2,262 you brought the heat this week. I'm talking about Benny Dack. I'm talking about P.P. Trey. I mean, I'm talking about some of them like Auntie 34. I'm talking about Amelia 045. All right. Silvara with the cat. Look at these cats. Very stable. Unreal. 6652. I don't see a picture, so I don't even know how real you are. REL 1, 2, 3. How about to 10? Knocking it down. Jack Chai 2. I'm sorry about those Bears questions. I don't know what if that's for Chicago. I'm just sorry about the Bears. Steino with the cool MLS logo. Thank you so much. Congrats to all of our new Hall of Trivia winners. You're Derek Carr throwing deep to Henry Ruggs. You're not Greg Williams calling an all-out blitz and then getting fired. Thanks so much for playing with us. We hope to see you again soon. Like, how about next week? Because we play Hall of Trivia every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right before the Thursday Night Football game. So pay close attention to all that goes down in the football and the fantasy week. And for more news and information on the Hall of Trivia, follow us on social at HQ Sports and at the HOF League. As always, a special thanks to our sponsors, the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. I've been your host, Jeff Eisenband. You see it right there at Jeff Eisenband. If you want to talk shop, talk fantasy, talk life, I'm there on Twitter and Instagram, wherever. Until next time, have the best fantasy version of your week. Score some touchdowns, and please don't get vultured out there. I'll see you soon.